Hello, I'm Stanley Lucian and welcome to the HGS Epoll. It's your opportunity to weigh in on the most pressing issues of the day. There has been a spike in the number of serious accidents on St. Lucia's roads over the past few months. This has resulted in deaths and life-changing injuries to some of the victims of these collisions, the majority of them being young males. Speeding and reckless driving are said to be the main causes of many of the collisions. So we ask, will a greater police presence on St. Lucia's roads reduce the number of accidents? We took to the streets to get your opinion, and here's what you had to say.
Yeah, well, there's two sides to every coin, right? So at the end of the day, there's a good side and there's a bad side. Right, so the positive side is obviously there's more police on the roads, so people will be more cautious, like when they see the police on the road, different kind of thing. On the other side, there's more vehicles on the road, so it's prone to be accident-wise. Like there's always going to be accidents because there's more vehicles on the road. But it should be effective. If they add more police on the streets, it should be effective.
Police presence generally is a good thing. Holistically, it's just a good thing. Anywhere the police is present, that can solve a whole heap of problems. For example, this guy wants to jump this other guy. Because the police is around, he might not. So this police has just saved this man's life. So, yes, the accident, that too. So I'm just saying police presence is generally a good thing. More police, better.
I don't think more police presence will curb accidents on the road. Our drivers have to be cognizant of the fact that there are rules of the road. And we have limits, we have speed limits, and we have to be more careful when we are traversing our roads. For example, we have some areas where speed bumps are necessary. I think putting some speed bumps in the road would curb some of those accidents. Drivers have to be more careful. Drivers have to be aware of, the person driving ahead of them, the person driving behind them, especially when they are approaching intersections. So our drivers must be more cognizant. They must be more careful. They must be more conscious. And if we do that as drivers, there will be less accidents. We need to know when to overtake. Some drivers overtake anywhere. They overtake in corners. They see a vehicle, an oncoming vehicle, they still overtake. So we need to be more conscious of those things and play our part in curbing the accidents that happen. We have to play our part. So more police presence. I don't think this is what we need. We need drivers to be more conscious and more careful when we traverse our roads.
Police presence would definitely solve a lot of the issues you have in relation to the road accidents. But I believe drivers need to take responsibility for their actions. And also the ministry need to have a lot more public awareness for them drivers.
I believe more police presence on the road will definitely help the level of accidents happening on the road. However, I believe if they're given the right tools, they will perform their duties better. For example, the speed breathalyzers, the speed guns, and so forth, because there is too much recklessness on our roads.
Well, I think presence of police can reduce the cause of accidents. I will not disagree with that. But part of the biggest problem is police have problems in taking matters to court. You don't have the necessary equipment such as breathalyzer tests, speed testing sensors. A lot of things are not in place for the police to perform their duties. So I don't think anybody should be blaming police for accidents. I think it's the carelessness of a lot of road users. But on the other hand, with government not doing their part, I think that is the biggest problem.
Thanks for those responses. And now to our new discussion. Prominent steel band players and administrators are calling for the St. Lucia government and the St. Lucian Society to give far greater support to steel bands. Steel bands, it must be said, have been established at several secondary schools on the island. But the advocates for greater support of steel bands say far more primary schools and secondary schools should have steel bands. They are also appealing for an increase in the prize money for Panorama and incentives to develop a cadre of pan makers and tuners to reduce the reliance on experts and steel pans from Trinidad. So we ask, should there be greater support for steel bands in St. Lucia? Voting is easy. Just log on to htsstlucia.org and vote. Remember, our Epoll team is always on the go to get your responses as well. Watch the HTS News Force from 7 p.m. for the results and the new discussion.